In Lesson 1.1, we discussed several characteristics of living organisms. In this lesson, we will discuss systematics. Systematics is the discipline of identifying and classifying organisms according to specific criteria. Organisms are placed into a series of specific categories, including domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. The largest, most broad classification category is domain. Each subsequent category then becomes more specific. For example, a domain may contain several kingdoms. Each kingdom may contain several phyla. Each phyla may contain a number of classes, orders, families, etc. And ultimately, organisms are assigned to a specific genus and species. There are three domains: archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. Both domain archaea and domain bacteria contain only unicellular prokaryotes. Prokaryotes are relatively simple organisms that lack a membrane-bound nucleus. All prokaryotes were previously included in kingdom Monera. However, upon closer inspection, these organisms are not very closely related, so consequently, kingdom Monera was divided and the domain category was established in systematic hierarchy. Domain bacteria includes all common prokaryotes which are found nearly everywhere. Any surface, including your skin, all surfaces in your room, your computer, everywhere we could culture and find these tiny unicellular prokaryotes. Domain archaea includes unicellular prokaryotes that are found only in very harsh environments. These are environments including those that lack oxygen, or may be too salty or too hot, or even too acidic for most other organisms. It's believed that the early environments whenever the Earth was forming were similar to the environments where these prokaryotes now inhabit. It's believed that these may be some of the oldest, most ancient life forms. Domain Eukarya includes all eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are much more structurally complex. This includes both unicellular and multicellular organisms whose cells contain a membrane-bound nucleus, as well as numerous other membranous organelles. We will learn much more about cellular structure and function in Chapter 3, and the importance of distinguishing between prokaryote and eukaryotes. There are currently 4 kingdoms within the domain Eukarya. Kingdom Protista is primarily unicellular eukaryotes. This includes things like Paramecia, Euglena, amoebas, algae, etc. There's a lot of diversity within the Kingdom Protista. Some of these organisms are photosynthetic autotrophs, others are ingestive heterotrophs. The next kingdom within Eukarya is the kingdom fungi. This includes yeasts, molds, mushrooms. These organisms are saprotrophs. Saprotrophs, you might recall, are the environmental decomposers. The next kingdom, the plant kingdom, includes all plants, from mosses to ferns to flowering plants and trees. These are multicellular organisms that are also photosynthetic autotrophs. The last kingdom, the animal kingdom, includes all animals. This would be from the simplest sponges up to complex human beings. All animals are ingestive heterotrophs. As mentioned earlier, kingdoms are divided into smaller, more specific phyla. The phyla are divided into smaller and more specific classes, classes into orders and families, etc. Finally, organisms are placed into a specific genus and species. The placement into each successive group is based on more and more specific criteria. Table 1.1 of your textbook lists the classifications of human. This is a good example of how we begin with very broad classification and then move into more and more specific categories. Humans, along with all eukaryotes, are placed into domain Eukarya. This would be cells with a membranous nuclei. Because we are multicellular organisms that rely on ingestion of food, we are placed into the animal kingdom. Some animals, including humans, possess a dorsal supporting rod called a notochord. These animals are placed into the chordate phylum. If we continue, some members of the chordate phylum possess hair and mammary glands. These are the characteristics necessary to be placed into the class Mammalia. Primates are mammals that climb trees. Hominids are primates that are able to walk erect. Next, members of the genus Homo must have a large brain and show evidence of tool use. And finally, the species Homo sapiens must possess body proportions of modern humans. As you can see, each successive group becomes more and more specific. All living organisms can similarly be classified based on similar characteristics. In Lesson 1.1, we looked at an organizational hierarchy beginning with atomic organization through molecular organization, cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and finally the organism. However, even organisms do not live alone, and so we can continue this organizational hierarchy. Each individual organism can be placed into a species, as we have seen. Members of the species make up a population. Population is all the members living in a particular area. All the different populations, that would be all the different species, in the same area interacting with one another make up a community. The living community, along with the physical environment, including soil, atmosphere, water, etc., then forms the ecosystem. Finally, the biosphere is the zone of air, land, and water at the surface of the earth where all living organisms are found and organized into various ecosystems.